In the midst of the pandemic, Vietnam has received global praise for the steps it's taken to contain the spread of the virus. In this episode of When in Vietnam, we'll find out how expats here have been able to manage their lives during the pandemic in our first segment called Why Vietnam? Then, in the segment Meet and Greet, we'll meet two expats who work in completely different fields but share the same purpose, giving a helping hand to those in need. Last but not least, we'll check out a group of expats and Vietnamese that are working together to keep our community here in Vietnam safe in the local buzz.
Hello, my name is Mary Ellen, but that's quite a mouthful, so you can call me Melon, like watermelon. I didn't think I would be here in Vietnam for so long, but due to COVID, here I am. And honestly, I'm so grateful to be here. There's so much beauty to explore in this country through both the landscapes and the people. As an expat here in Vietnam, I feel incredibly fortunate. There are endless opportunities, no matter your passion. And both the expat and Vietnamese communities are open to new ideas and change. Every one of us has our own compelling stories about our life and journey through Vietnam. Don't miss out on all the fun. Join me in our journey of When in Vietnam to see how different expats are living and working throughout Vietnam. Are you ready? Let's go!
The COVID-19 pandemic has revealed issues around the world, and these issues transcend just health and medicine. They reveal how different cultures and societies around the world have been able to cope with this crisis. The virus has completely transformed the world as we once knew it. Many expats living here didn't have a choice but to board the Plan B train and attempt to stabilize their lives. Some have even gone to the streets to sell their self-made goods. But how can they make their Plan B successful during a pandemic? As a foreigner living here in Vietnam, I can honestly say that I feel safer here around these wonderful people than I would anywhere else. Why Vietnam? Because Vietnamese people are open-minded, friendly, and of great help to foreigners like us, especially in difficult times like these.
I used to work at a tour company, but that industry has vanished due to the pandemic. So my wife and I make cakes to sell on the streets.
Qua đây những người ta hay đầu tư nhưng mà vì Covid nên người ta không có khả năng, hay là giúp người ta một cái bánh nhưng mà ta rất là mừng lắm mà nè. Em thấy tội lắm, em thấy thương. Từ xưa đến giờ họ sống ở bên đó mà khi mà về đây họ cứ mấy tháng thôi mà họ đã làm quen được mọi thứ. Em thấy dễ thương, nhiệt tình lắm.
In the midst of the pandemic, Vietnam has received global praise for its ability to cope with the spread of the virus. The policies that the government put in place to ensure safety during the COVID-19 pandemic are a big reason why both locals and expats are able to overcome challenges and continue living a successful life here. In particular, the Blue Zone app and the text message support from the Ministry of Health has been really helpful.
I think we can learn a lot from Vietnam when it comes to disease prevention. The messages from the Ministry of Health make me feel calm. I was surprised at first because there's no such thing in Japan. The messages are all detailed and contain useful information.
And I think those kinds of messages have helped to calm some of the potential panic among the public. You know, I think, of course, there's nervousness. Nobody wants a big viral outbreak. I personally feel safe, and I have been telling my children, in fact, that we should feel lucky that we are living in Vietnam these days, because the government really is, I feel, looking out for our best interests. So I'm grateful.
You've just seen some stories of how foreigners can succeed here in Vietnam during a global pandemic, but with the help of the locals. Needless to say, when in Vietnam, do as the Vietnamese do, especially during a global pandemic. Vietnam has become increasingly popular as an expat destination in recent years, and it's now recognized as a safe place for foreigners to live and work. While some expats choose Vietnam as a place to burgeon their career, other selfless individuals opt to lend a helping hand to those in need in the country. In our journey today, I'll meet two expats with different stories that share a common interest: helping vulnerable individuals. Now, let's greet our first guest.
Hello, my name's Christopher Axe, and I've been living in Hanoi for 5 years. I've been running a campaign called Help Hanoi's Homeless for 4 of those years. Well, I was briefly and intermittently homeless myself about 8 years ago, something like that. That was when I lived in New Zealand. I was actually homeless in Auckland. It was a very difficult life, but aside from all of the physical implications that it has, the psychological aspect of being homeless that I find to be the most damaging. I initially found Help Hanoi's Homeless when I encountered a woman on the street who was sleeping on a stool with a baby in her arms. Obviously it affected me quite deeply, so I went out and started helping her. And then I began sort of building up groups of people who would be interested in sort of providing some aid to the poor and disadvantaged around Hanoi. Well, I think we've got 7,000 members now. On the Thursday nights, so we meet at the train station, 120 Les One. We gather together everything we've got and we split it up into bags. And then we carry it all on our bikes. We drive around to different locations. We find people who are in need and we give them what we can. We also keep our ear to the ground for more specific ways we can help. You know, if there's a possibility of getting somebody some work, or if someone has, you know, if somebody's sick or needs a blanket or needs some clothes. Something I'm quite proud of is that some people have come along on the homeless runs and then moved to another country. And when they've moved to another country, they've started a campaign of their own, which is why we have a campaign in Australia now. We have a campaign in Adelaide, which is awesome. I like the idea that it's a bit of a ripple effect. Initially, I was going to stay for a few months. I hadn't really planned on staying for very long, but very quickly I fell in love with the country. Mainly, it's the people of Vietnam that I love. The spirit of reciprocity that they have here is incredibly strong, the sense of community and unity. Anytime I've got on a flat tire or my bike's broken down, I've pushed it for about 5 minutes before somebody pulls up and helps me get to a petrol station or to a garage. It's one of the reasons I really love Vietnam and the people here.
Over the last 2 years of living in Hanoi, I sometimes wanted to help the homeless, but I was afraid that I couldn't build trust in strangers so that they were willing to receive my aid. But now I know Axe, and I can totally follow him on the run to help the homeless. And today is the day. Let's go help him prepare. I'm here with Axe to help prepare some donation bags for the homeless. Axe, can you tell me, what are we doing here?
Well, we're going to put a few different donations into a bag, and then we're just going to take it off down to the station. We're going to add a little bit more to it, and then we'll tie them up and hand them out to the people that need it.
Okay, great. Where do we get started?
Well, just hand me one of those bags if you could.
Okay.
Thank you. So if you want to just hold that bag open.
Sure.
Let's go for it. So these bags are all biodegradable.
Good to
so
hear.
we've got quite a lot of dry food to go in there. So we've got some noodles and some dry snacks and things. We've got a sandwich here.
A sandwich.
A few more dry bits and pieces here. Got a dental set there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Of course, we want to put in some masks as well. And we've got a bottle of vitamin C water there.
Sounds wonderful. This is a great bag to provide for the people that really don't have much of anything. So some food, some snacks, some things to stay safe and clean given COVID.
Yep.
I'm excited to hand them out.
Well, I'm happy to have you along.
Here we go. I'm really excited to lend a helping hand. At the Hanois station, we added more donated items such as fruit, homemade food, medical supplies, and so much more to the bags that we had previously prepared. Axe gave the group some respect and safety guidelines to follow, especially amidst the pandemic. And then we hit the streets of Hanoi to bring these bags to the disadvantaged people living on the streets. These bags were filled with so much love from the volunteers of Help Hanois Homeless. Wow, everything happened so quickly. I'm just trying to keep up with the volunteers and follow all of their instructions. The seasoned volunteers are so quick to hop off their bikes when they see someone on the street and find out whether or not they need help and how we can help. Through these runs, every Thursday since December of 2017, Christopher Axe has had the opportunity to befriend and help quite a few homeless people.
Quen ông ấy tới đây cho đồ hoài à. Rồi thì nhiều lần lắm rồi thì cũng quen. Thấy nhiều khi mà trời mưa trời gió nhưng mà thấy ông ấy cũng mặc áo mưa đi, giờ mưa đi cho quà từ thiện. Nhiều khi mà mình cần kem đánh răng ấy, nói với ông ấy cho ông ấy cũng cho.
Despite COVID-19, Axe and his volunteers have continued to lend a helping hand, just with extra precautions. We are all at risk of being infected. However, the people on the streets still have basic needs that need to be met.
Nhóm thì cũng thực hiện đúng các tiêu chí, 5 tiêu chí mà Bộ Y tế đã đưa ra, nên là mình rất là tự tin là sẽ không có vấn đề gì đối với nhóm cả. Đi cùng với nhóm thì sau khi về mình cảm thấy có một cái động lực rất là lớn và một cái giống như cái năng lượng tỏa ra của những cái con người mà cùng tham gia cái hoạt động này, nó truyền tải đến cho mình và mình cảm thấy đó là những năng lượng rất là tích cực.
It always goes into my mind that if I'm concerned about myself, what more of the people who are out on the streets? I mean, they are subjected to more virus, more contact with people. So I think I have it good because I have the means to take care of myself. What more of these people? So I look at it as an opportunity to contribute back, to go out, render that little support that we can give.
The problem of poverty is not just going to go away, but the individual suffering of people can be alleviated by the kind of work that Help Hanois Homeless is doing.
Saying bye to Axe, let's greet our next guest.
Hello, my name is Harold Browning. I'm an animal welfare advisor for Animals Asia. I have been living in Vietnam for 6 years, 1 month, 10 days, and 2 hours. I mostly specialise by working in government-run rescue centres, helping the Vietnamese government to improve their standards for rescue, housing, rehabilitation, and the release of animals back into the wild. My job is to introduce a concept, educate the staff member of the literature and the research behind what they're doing to understand the animals. So as the centres are getting better and the staff are then taking on the jobs that I was training them to do, I move more into design world. As you'll see in the centre behind me, a lot of the facilities were designed by me. So making dynamic branch layouts for gibbons so that the enclosure moves as they swing through it. It helps with the cognitive processes of gibbons and keeps them thinking all the time so they don't get bored and develop stress-related behaviours. So these government centres exist all the way down Vietnam. You have 18 of them in total, roughly. They all serve different functions, they all serve different biomes, and different animals they get confiscated. So what we're doing now is trying to combine these rescue centres so they share information. There is no use in us rescuing an animal up to Hanoi that is native to Phung Nha when all we've got to do is take it from Phung Nha to Hanoi, rehabilitate it, then drive it back to Phung Nha to release it. My goal for Vietnam would be for the staff here to one day be able to train the staff in the other rescue centres. But while I'm required to share information, I'll be here for as long as I'm needed.
Làm cùng với anh Harry là anh rất nhiệt tình, chỉ bảo mọi cái nó cũng rất là chu đáo và được học hỏi từ anh cũng rất nhiều là kiến thức về động vật, về mình có thể là đặc tính của từng loài và cái cách chăm sóc và cho ăn.
I am not really a traditional animal lover. I respect them mutually and in the same way I respect humans. So everything's kind of on the level playing field for me. There you go, my man. You're going to shovel so many of these. Everything should be left in its own space. I mean, the foundation of all human ethics was do to others as you'd have done to yourself. And I think we'd learn a lot and the world would be a much better place if we extended that to the animal world as well.
As a wildlife and animal lover, I cannot wait to meet Harry to see how his working day is like. Here I am at the rescue center. Let's go find Harry.
Harry! Where are you? Do you guys know where Harry is? Harry! Oh, there's Harry. Harry!
Hello.
I found you. How are you?
Very well, and yourself?
I'm doing wonderful.
What's new in the world?
Oh, well, I've finally made it here. I'm excited to see the nature reserve that you have.
Yeah, well, it's very nice to have you here.
Great.
I'll be happy to show you around.
Thanks. What are you working on?
Currently I'm building this hammock for a bear. All of our bears like to have choice about where they sleep. And we just like to provide them with every single kind of choice they could have. So we provide them with bedding to sleep on, like dry leaf piles or straw. And then above that they have a hanging hammock. So if they want to get off the floor into something more comfortable.
I'm really excited to see some of the animals. Can we go on a tour of the facilities?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm excited to show you around.
A day in the working life of Harry includes dozens of critically endangered animals. I was amazed to meet pangolins and tigers and so many other rare animals that have suffered at the hands of humans. Luckily, these animals have been rescued from the illegal wildlife trade and they have been liberated from a life that was filled with exploitation and suffering. Some were even kept in cages so small that they never learned to walk until being brought to the rescue center. Therefore, a number of positive reinforcement methods have been implemented to aid in the animals' rehabilitation.
So what you can do is to help me is we need all the monkeys this side so that we can then go to the other side. And to do that, you spread the food down here, ask the monkeys to come towards you, they'll come over, and then once they're all on this side, we can then work on the other side. So if you take a handful of this is dog kibble. It's mostly used for dogs, but it contains all the nutrients that you'd have for a macaque. So now you've got your dog kibble. If you spread it down the pipe and say, "Come on, monkeys."
Come on, monkeys.
Here come the monkeys.
Come on, monkeys.
You put a bit in the top one as well, because you've got some guys up there.
This has made things like hand-feeding friendly monkeys and bears a possibility. I've never had such close contact with wild animals. I will never, ever forget this day.
Vietnam still has a chance to correct its course it's on, whereas the UK lost that chance by making those animals extinct while we were making mistakes. If you look at this centre, we're now taking species that we would never have seen before. We're taking small songbirds. Recently we were doing job interviews, and in those job interviews I'm talking to people who interview between 20 and 26, and you can tell that the attitudes are massively changed. They are learning about it, and they are reaching a level that you don't find in most countries. We're very lucky to be in Vietnam. We've had a lot of freedom to move around during the crisis compared to other countries.
I think of myself as quite blessed to be living in Vietnam, where they've taken the pandemic very seriously, and their government and everybody really as a community has acted.
Coronavirus, it has given a bigger respect from people of what mismanaging the environment can do. Oh, if I eat a wild animal, the consequences could be a global pandemic. Coronavirus did bring a greater awareness of how much we need to live in balance with the environment.
Whew. This is just a small whistle, but you know what? It has the power to save you in a dangerous situation. Anytime you feel like you're being followed or threatened in any way by anyone, you can use this whistle to call for help. In this segment of Local Buzz Today, let's discover the stories behind this campaign.
The whistle is a personal safety strategy to deter and draw attention. Keep the whistle close at all times. Alert. If you notice suspicious behavior, take out the whistle and blow continuously to alert. Learn the phrase "Cua voi" to call for help in Vietnam. Most importantly, get yourself somewhere safe to seek support. Respond. If you hear a loud, continuous whistle sound, respond by taking your whistle out and using continuous short bursts to let the victim know help is on the way.
Whistle Theo was founded, believe it or not, just for during Tet time, actually. There was a rise in sexual assaults in the neighborhood.
We hopefully prevent some assaults, distributing whistles throughout the community. We have leaflets in those packs, our whistle packs, that inform people where the police stations are that they can go to, what to do when you are in a bad situation.
And I felt like we needed to take a step back and first of all inform ourselves and educate ourselves on emergency preparedness here, what to do, how to report an assault.
No matter one's age, career, or gender, anyone can be a victim of assault. With the recent rise of assault-related crimes in Hanoi, the Whistle Theo campaign has been inaugurated. Their first initiative is giving out free whistle packs that include bilingual information about police and hospitals in case of an emergency, and of course, a metal whistle to use if you ever feel threatened.
First of all, whistle is it's an international emergency tool, right? That they use if you're hiking in nature. It's basically making a loud sound. It's an object a daily object you can carry with you anywhere you go, and it's to make a loud sound. Loud sounds ward off any perpetrators and scare people off. So that's why I thought a whistle is a very simple tool that we can share within the community that's legal. Knives, pepper spray, bats, that's not legal. And we need to work within the legal infrastructure here to protect ourselves.
Feelings of threat can be due to unwanted or suggestive comments, sexually explicit touch or gestures, or feelings of being followed. Included in each pack is information on where to report assaults, if they do happen, both on Facebook and with partnered police stations.
Đã tìm hiểu và mình đến trực tiếp cảnh sát để hỏi cho chi tiết hơn để là quyền lợi của mình được làm trong những vấn đề như thế nào. Thì công an đã rất là giúp đỡ giải thích tất cả mọi thắc mắc trong trường hợp khẩn cấp thì mình sẽ làm như thế nào.
What we're doing is we're actually starting a trauma survivor group.
It's a safe space for victims of assaults to have a conversation about what's happened to them, how it's affected them, to hear stories from other women, know that they're not alone.
As a survivor myself of a rape and sexual assaults, seeing assaults happen in the community is actually really triggering. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's like, okay, what can we do here in Vietnam to create a safe support network to address these issues? I think for me personally, working on this campaign is part of the healing project.
Besides monthly meetings for assault victims, Whistle Theo has plans to start classes to introduce basic self-defense techniques.
Theo đuổi Phie là cách tự vệ, mình có thể học nhanh được và mình có thể ghi nhớ được. Về self-defense cũng là một bộ môn mà rất nhiều người phụ nữ đang muốn tìm để học hỏi. Tại vì nó giúp cho phụ nữ lấy yếu đánh mạnh, sự nhỏ bé đánh sự lớn.
The Vietnamese and the foreigners around to know that there's, that things are being done in the right way and that we can stand together against dangerous situations.
As more and more people receive the Whistle packs and learn about emergency procedures, they will be able to better protect themselves. Whistle Theo is doing what it can to educate and unite the whole community in an effort to make people feel safer and prevent future assaults.
The story behind Whistle Theo is truly amazing. And if you are walking around the city and hearing any sounds of whistles, find them. This person is in need of help. The Whistle Theo campaign has closed the first episode of When in Vietnam. If you want to rewatch our program, you can download VTVgo from the App Store or Google Play, or visit youtube.com/VTV4go. Goodbye for now.